Hello everyone, I'm back again, having just filmed the favourite combo video which you will have just seen, and I've had a little break for about 10 minutes, and I hope you can see that it actually looks even better after 10 minutes when the mineral foundation has sunk in. So I'm just loving that combo. But anyway, let's move on. I've now moved my microphone so you won't get any when I'm starting to move my arms, because I had it clipped to my dressing gown, so apologies for that earlier. But I'm moving on now to the Tom Ford Emotionproof concealer. Now again, I had to buy online. I didn't know what colour I was. I have a feeling this is going to be too light, having looked at it, but it's so difficult to find colours online. But it doesn't matter, because this is going under my eyes and it will be fine. It will be absolutely fine under my eyes. Now the reason that I got this concealer is because it's had some very, very good reviews, and it also claims to be waterproof. Now this eye is still, I had some ointment in it last night. I've really been suffering with very, very watery eyes, and not only is it making my under eyes really sore because it's constantly got tears on there, but it's also washing off my concealer and then washing it into my eyes, and it's just annoying me. And I'm not going to let it stop me wearing makeup, but I wanted to look for something that was really waterproof, and this has had some really good reviews. They say that this is the one to wear if you're at a wedding and you're gonna cry. So now there isn't a lot about this on the box, and when you see this online you think it's a bigger tube than that, but that's the kind of size. So there is 7 mils of product. Now it's not cheap, but I wanted to try it. I'll put the prices and everything below. I wanted to try it because some things are worth paying a little bit extra for. I just hope I can make the shade work. So this is shade 6 Natural. It's a screw off top, and it comes with a doe foot like so. And I've just been testing out another eyeliner. Excuse me, I'll tell you what that is later. So that's the shade. It'll be fine under my eyes. So I'm just going to apply this. I might just dab it in with my fingers. I'm just going to dot some here. I'll try dabbing this side with my fingers, and I'll try doing the other side with a blending sponge. That blends in and sinks in really quickly, which is a really good thing, because if things take long to set, then by the time they've set, my eyes have already watered and washed it off. That is fantastic. Sorry, I know that I'm gonna love this. That has just sunk in so beautifully. Look at that. Now I'm just gonna wipe this eye, because look, it's starting to water again. But this is going to be interesting, doing this eye with it. And actually I don't mind the shade. I'm going to see if I can put another layer on in a minute, just to really brighten up under my eyes. Okay, I've just dried off this eye, and I'm now going to apply this, and I'm going to use my complexion sponge and just dab that. This has been washed, this sponge, but I need to get a new one. I'm not going to even try using the other end of it, so I'm going to order some up today. I think I prefer this with fingers actually. I think it applies, probably looks a bit better with the sponge. I've got one of those little sponges that you use for concealer somewhere. I must dig it out. Actually that probably applied a little bit better with the sponge. So let me just go back on this side and put some there. I reckon this would be a really good eye primer as well, because it sinks in really quickly. I'm just going to use this. I'm just amazed at how quickly that blends in. Now, as I've always said, if your concealer is a bit on the light side, I'm going to do another coat on this side, because otherwise that side's going to look brighter. You just balance it out by putting some in the center of your face and use it to highlight, and it will look fine. That just feels completely weightless. Now this is going to be really interesting. Let me just put some in this corner here. This is where my eye, I'm probably going to make it water, but I just want to dot some there to see how it holds up to that eye watering. That's going to be the real test. Now, little tip. Whenever you see, well, not all makeup artists, but a lot of makeup artists will tell you, apply your concealer here and don't apply it there because it's unnecessary. Right, and the reason they say that is that's where you're more likely to have kind of fine lines, whereas this skin is more stretched this side. However, just a little tip, because it's reminded me to show you this. You'll see that my skin looks quite dark, and it makes the skin look quite, the eyes look quite downturned. And actually, if you put your concealer of a lighter shade like that, and you just put it at the side there, it will give you an immediate eye lift. I'm just going to show you. Let me blend this in, and I think you'll see what I mean. It will just make your eyes look more lifted. Now, obviously, if you've got a lot of fine lines there, you might not want to. Mine tend to be here, but I just find that gives my eyes a little bit of a lift. I'm going to put some this side. I'm just experimenting now. I probably don't need this much, but I want to really put it to the test. My son's getting very animated with his game. And you see that eye's watering already. It's not even giving it a chance to set. That's the only thing. We'll see. I'm just going to dab that because it hadn't even set, in fairness to it. And then, just so that you don't look like the president with white eyes and a tanned face, that's all you have to do when you have that. Save you having sunbed eyes that look white and the rest of your face looks tanned. It just will balance out your complexion. And I'm going to try some on my lids as well to see what it's like as an eye base. Just put a little dot. I am amazed at how quickly this sinks in. It really does. As soon as you put it on and you start to blend it in, it just disappears. You know how others feel still a bit tacky, and you don't need to set this. You will not need to use a powder with this concealer. When I say it dries down, it doesn't look matte either. It doesn't feel matte or drying. It just immediately sinks in. And you know, if I love this, I'm just going to get some darker shades anyway. But once I have got the rest of my makeup on, it won't look too bad. At the moment, it's still looking a bit like the wrong shade for me. But I'm just loving that. Now, I'm going to do an update for you. But I'm just amazed at that. It just, let me just do a close-up. It's not settling into fine lines at all. And it really does not need setting. Look at that on the eyelid as well. Normally, even in that short time, it starts settling. Now this side is a little bit there where my eye's watering. But in fairness, it doesn't get a chance to dry because that is just constantly watering at the moment. I'm just going to do this. I'm going to come back in 5 minutes because I want to see, does this crease? Because normally it's already creased and it hasn't. I am really impressed with that. Really impressed. It's a shame about the shade. It's not quite right for me. But never mind. It's so difficult. So this is shade 6 natural. So I probably need to go up to a 7. But 7 looked very yellow online. Right, I'm coming back in 5 minutes so we can see what this looks like, and also with this eye watering, whether that is looking any worse than it is. And we'll have a look at it again. Hi everyone, I'm back. I've actually been about 20 minutes because I've got a couple of calls in between. Now this eye has been streaming, constantly streaming, and it's come away at the corner, but it's still there. And I'm really impressed by the fact that it's not creasing. Now, it's creased a little bit in my eyelids. A little bit, but by no means. That's because I've got hooded lids and I haven't set it, don't forget. So I didn't put any powder on this at all. Now, normally, as soon as I put that on as a base, I would be putting powder eyeshadow over it. So that isn't really a problem, but it's not really creased a lot, and I'm really loving this. I am really loving it. Look at that under eye. This one hasn't been watering as much. A little bit there. So I'm not sure that I would say it's completely waterproof, but this eye has literally been streaming, streaming, streaming. And I think that this could very well be my all-time favourite concealer. The reason I'm saying that is I love Magic Away by Charlotte Tilbury. And I love, except I don't love the packaging, as you know, and I don't like the sponge applicator. And I love Huda Beauty's Overachiever Concealer. The reason that I think this actually overtakes both of those is it doesn't need setting. You really do not need to set this. And it has not settled into any fine lines under my eyes. And it sinks in so quickly that it just doesn't give it time to settle. The only thing is I wish it was a little bit more waterproof than that. But what I'm going to do is just apply a little bit more. I've been using my dressing gown to dab my eye. But this has been watering a lot. And I'm going to try and add a little bit more. Now, one of the things is that I got very close. I was looking back at the video and I got very close to my eye and it's migrated into my waterline, as you can see. So what I'm going to try and do now when I reapply it is not get so close. And I'm going to do it with my fingertip so that I can get that really precise application and I don't get it to go near my eyes, which is is going to cause the sensitivity. So I'm going to just dab that now. And just stop. It's not going to let me get there, look. Because that's where my eye's been watering. It's not going to go over the watery bit. But that's fine. I don't really want it to, because that's getting too close to my eye right now. I am really, really impressed with this concealer, and I'm going to keep you updated, because I really do think that this could be my all-time favourite, and I have a feeling that by the time that the year is out, I'm going to be getting this in a couple more shades, at least one more shade, a darker shade for under my eyes, but I might even go as far as to get a shade that matches my skin tone as well, because I just think that looks great, and it just doesn't feel like you've got anything there. And the fact that you don't have to put powder on it is just such a big bonus to me. Apart from anything, when you've got hooded lids like this, anything is going to crease a little bit in there. Anything. But it's not creased at all into those fine lines. Can you see that? And who knows, if my eye hadn't been watering at the time I put it on, and it had been allowed to really dry down properly and set, then it may just have been waterproof. That's why I don't think it's a really fair test. But I'm really, really happy with this. I definitely would recommend this. I think you'll get a surprise when you apply it and you feel it sink straight into the skin, but not in a way that dries out your skin either. Loving it. Really, really loving it. I'll keep you updated. Just as a postscript, while you're watching this concealer, I have discovered the cause of my very, very watery eye at the moment. I've got an ingrowing eyelash in the corner of that other eye, which is basically so the eyelash keeps rubbing against my eyeball. So I've been trying to curl it out the way, and if necessary, I may just have to pluck it out. I've had to do that once before. Anyway, so that's why my eye's been watering. And secondly, I just wanted to say that this will be continued, but I abandoned the filming yesterday because the lighting was getting far too poor, and also my eye was getting so watery. It was just every time I was applying my makeup, it just washed straight off, and it just looked a complete mess afterwards. And I just thought it was best to stop trying to do stuff with my eyes and give it a bit of a rest. So you will be seeing the Daniel Sandler video, but I'll be filming that tomorrow morning in good light, and hopefully my eye will have calmed down. But I hope you've enjoyed the concealer video, and I definitely will keep you updated about this concealer because I'm very excited about it.